1. WNBPA's bold stand against WNBA CBA proposal, a fight for change. 2. WNBA and WNBPA All-Star Meeting, minimal CBA progress despite player attendance. 3. Caitlin Clark's role in WNBA CBA negotiations, what to expect. 1. WNBPA's bold stand against WNBA's CBA proposal, a fight for change. In a dramatic turn of events, the Women's National Basketball Players Association, WNBPA, has publicly criticized a proposal from the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, following an in-person meeting in Indianapolis. This dispute revolves around a new collective bargaining agreement, CBA, for the league, with the WNBPA asserting that the proposal fails to address the issues they've prioritized since opting out of the current CBA in October. This meeting marked the first time the WNBA and WNBPA have met in person since December, as they strive to reach a resolution before the current CBA expires at the end of the 2025 season. The WNBPA claims that more than 40 players, including league all-stars such as Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark, attended the meeting alongside executive committee members and player representatives. This represents the largest in-person player turnout in union history during CBA negotiations. However, the union expressed dissatisfaction with the league's proposal, believing it does not adequately address issues such as improving working conditions and securing a fair share of league business. The WNBPA released a statement expressing their disappointment, stating, "The WNBA's response to our proposals fails to address the priorities we've voiced from the day we opted out, a transformational CBA that delivers our rightful share of the business that we've built, improves working conditions and ensures the success we create lifts both today's players and the generations that follow." The statement also highlighted the league's recent successes, including increased media rights, ratings, revenue, team valuations, expansion fees, attendance, and ticket sales. Despite their discontent, the WNBPA remains committed to the fight and returning to the negotiating table. They assert that the current system is unsustainable and that they will not stop until they achieve the transformational CBA this moment demands. Several of the league's stars have been vocal about their frustration over the state of negotiations, with Satou Sabally calling the WNBA's first proposal a slap in the face, and Breanna Stewart claiming that the league kind of just ignored everything we said in negotiations. The tense nature of these CBA negotiations, and the looming threat of a work stoppage if a resolution is not met, could potentially stall the explosive growth of the WNBA and women's basketball. This growth has been fueled by the emergence of young stars like Clark and Angel Reese, who have attracted unprecedented levels of attention to the game. The meeting took place ahead of this weekend's WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis, which highlights the league's surge in popularity and plans for growth beyond the 2025 season. The league has added expansion teams in Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia, and plans to expand further to 18 teams by 2030. But here's where it gets controversial. While the WNBPA is fighting for a transformational CBA, some argue that the league's growth and popularity may not be sustainable if the players' demands are met in full. This raises the question, how can the WNBA balance the needs of its players with the financial realities of running a professional sports league? And this is the part most people miss. The outcome of these negotiations will not only impact the WNBA and its players but also set a precedent for other professional sports leagues and their collective bargaining agreements. 2. WNBA and WNBPA All-Star Meeting, minimal CBA progress despite player attendance. Progress? Don't hold your breath. The Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, and its players' union, the WNBPA, recently held their first in-person meeting since December, and the result? A stalemate. While over 40 players, including stars like Nneka Ogwumike and Caitlin Clark, showed up in droves, the 2-hour session in Indianapolis left many feeling like they'd just gone through the motions. The biggest question on everyone's mind? How will the league share its growing revenue with the players? And here's where it gets controversial. The union's proposals, which aim for a revenue-sharing model tied to the league's booming finances, have been met with silence, or at least, a very slow response from the WNBA. Terry Carmichael Jackson, the WNBPA's executive director, called the talks spirited but stopped short of calling them productive. One player even called the meeting bullshit, while others shrugged off questions about the outcome. The union's president, Mike, declined to comment, citing a need to attend the WNBA's orange carpet event. But here's the part most people miss: the league's delayed counteroffer to the union's proposals, submitted in February, has players fuming. When the WNBA finally responded after 5 months, it was seen as a slap in the face by some, with Breanna Stewart saying it felt like they were not even talking about the same thing. The stakes are high. The WNBA recently secured an 11-year media rights deal worth $2.2 billion and pocketed $250 million in expansion fees from 3 new teams. With record attendance and viewership numbers, players argue that fixed salary caps are no longer viable. They want a system where salaries grow as the league's revenue does. So, is the WNBA intentionally stalling to weaken the union's position? Jackson says that's a question for the league's leadership. But with a CBA deadline looming on October 31st, the clock is ticking. The union says they're on track to keep talking, but no one's ready to call this a breakthrough. As Jackson put it, negotiations are hard. Today was a step in the right direction, but there's a long way to go. What do you think? Is the WNBA's slow response a strategic move, or just a sign of poor planning? Share your thoughts below. 3. Caitlin Clark's role in WNBA CBA negotiations. What to expect? Imagine being at the heart of a groundbreaking moment in sports history. Caitlin Clark is about to do just that this week. In the bustling city of Boston, Caitlin Clark, a rising star in the WNBA, is set to play a pivotal role in a meeting that could reshape the future of women's basketball. Recently crowned as the face of the WNBA by her peers in an anonymous poll conducted by The Athletic, Clark will be present at a critical collective bargaining agreement (CBA) discussion between the Players' Union and the league in Indianapolis this Thursday, as she mentioned during a pre-game interview. These upcoming meetings in Indianapolis are of utmost importance, Clark emphasized. Even though I'm not our team's representative or a member of the committee, I'm deeply committed to understanding and engaging in these discussions. Being in my second year in the league, I recognize this as a pivotal moment for our growth. I'm genuinely excited to participate in these meetings, and I believe every player in our league shares this enthusiasm to advance the CBA talks. The players collectively decided to opt out of the current CBA, which caps salaries at a maximum of $250,000 and restricts revenue sharing, at the close of the last season. Consequently, this agreement will now expire on October 31st of this year, rather than at the end of the 2027 season. Currently, the league and the Players' Union are navigating the challenging waters of negotiating a new CBA, a process that has already sparked considerable controversy. Mercury forward and union representative Satou Sabally didn't mince words when she described the league's June offer as a slap in the face. The primary objective for the players is to see a significant increase in salaries, especially in light of the recent $2.2 billion media rights deal with several television networks. With both attendance and TV viewership soaring in recent years, thanks in part to stars like Clark and the Indiana Fever, the timing couldn't be more critical. Beyond just higher salaries, the players are advocating for the introduction of pensions and additional retirement benefits to complement the existing 401k plans. They also aim to implement an equity-based model and establish minimum standards for practice and game facilities. Sydney Coulson, a guard for the Indiana Fever and a key figure in this season's negotiations, shared her insights. Our players feel the pressure from us. They see that we are deeply invested, informed, and aware of the injustices occurring. Given the growth our league is experiencing, it's only fair that players reap the benefits in their salaries and other areas. Chloe Peterson, the dedicated Indiana Fever beat reporter for IndyStar, is on the front lines of this story. You can reach her at kpeterson@gannett.com or follow her on X at @chloepeterson67. Stay updated with the latest on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever by subscribing to our Caitlin Clark Fever newsletter. https://profile.indystar.com/newsletters/caitlin-clark-fever/?IPID=NL sign up fever. But here's where it gets controversial. Are the players' demands justified, or are they pushing too hard? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below and join the debate.